What's up, guys? Tim Alston from DragBoss Garage. Well, I'll kind of give you a heads up of what's going on here at DBG. So here's the 409 Cleveland. I took that out. You already saw that I finished off the engine compartment. Pretty psyched about that. Now I'm going to pull off the water pump and the motor plate so I can reseal it with new gaskets to make sure we don't have any water leaks. I always worry about stuff like that. But check it out. There's Zeus, right? Good boy. Good down. That's my boy right there. He keeps an eye on DBG, huh? Very well behaved. There's a reason why you go over things before you put them in a car when you haven't checked things over for a long time. It's been over. This thing, it was dynoed about a year ago now. 13 months. I think November 18th of 2021. But I found that this thing was rubbing on the dampener here. Must be when we dynoed it. And I'll show you a picture of this. You'll see it in here, where you could see the wires, how it just started to wear into them. So it's always good to check things over. That could have been a catastrophe. So it always makes me wonder, you know, here it has been sitting for 13 months, never been turned over, so the springs have been in the same position. I always worry about things having an issue. I would love to pull the bearings apart and look at it. It's a testimonial to what you need to run over 8,000 RPM with a Cleveland. It's been doing well with how I've had it set up for years. So nothing special. I did add that external line. We know it didn't hurt anything because it made 23 dyno pulls. So I always want to pull the plugs out. Here's number one plug. What's up, Zeus? You're getting ready to train, aren't you, bud? Yeah, he's my boy. So here's number one plug. 23 dyno pulls. I don't know if what you can see from that, but it looks pretty good to me. Just a touch of brown. No oil. I like seeing that. So I'm going to pull this down. Dang, these look good. No signs of any rust. I always worry about what the cylinders look like. So before I turn it over, I'm going to put a scope down there and see what you see. Boy, there you go. Right, Zeus? Hang on. Good boy. You good, look out, huh? Down. That's my boy. Good down. Good. Good. Yeah. Yeah. Zeus don't play, let me tell you. He's well trained. Every day, twice a day, we train him. We go to classes too. I should put up some videos on him. Tape in his ears, what it's like to own a Doberman. They're pretty different dog. Another plug. There it is. Number 3. Nice. We'll take 4 out. Now this might be a little lean. I don't know. That one's a little more white, so to speak, compared to the rest. Good boy. But you know what? There's no oil in it, no water in it. So I suspect these cylinders are going to look nice inside. Good boy. Let's see what these cylinders look like. Number 5. Oh yeah, you're ready, huh? Again, clean, looks good. Huh? How are you, Zeus? So then the next thing after I get the all this taken care of and cleaned up, I'm going to get it back in. We'll bolt the headers up. Number 6, looking clean. The plugs I run are Autolite Racing plugs. They have the real cutback electrode. These are 3932s. And I've ran 33, so that's about really the only plugs I've ever ran. And that's what you need for these heads, these A3 heads. And in this case, the pistons are so close you have to index your plugs. Otherwise, it closes the gap on them. Ask me how I know. Seven, looks good. That's what I like though, not seeing any oil on the threads. Plug not coated with oil. Tells me she's sealed and ready to rock and roll. I'd be tempted to pull off the heads, pull apart the bearings and look at everything, but I ain't doing it. No way, I came too far. We're ready to rock and roll. Again, number 8, clean. Alright guys, getting back to this video. You can tell it's been a while if you look around, notice some details. But the plugs are all out, you saw that. The cylinders look great. Now what I do is I want to pull the front accessories off here because I know I gotta put some holes through this motor plate, which I'm still trying to figure out the best way to do that. So you guys can chime in on the comments whether I drill it. I don't really want to use a hole saw, they're pretty messy. But let's keep going. First thing we want to do is get this vacuum pump off. And I got to give a big shout out to Todd Fuchs from the Facebook Cleveland page and the 351cleveland.net forum that's on the internet. He donated this plate. So thanks, Todd. And the thing that I like about this is, I'll show you. So you can adjust the pump just like this through the logo. It's pretty crazy. And I got a belt that matches, so we're ready to rock and roll. And if you watched the video I put up last night of that Boss 351 Mustang, I'm telling you, since I saw that, I would really like one of those Mustangs, 71 through 73. Doesn't have to be the Boss 351 because we can take care of that. But I appreciate you guys watching the video. I'll kind of give you some insight. This weekend is going to be a big weekend for live chats. I'll tell you right now. I'll give you a little rundown. On Friday, if everything works out well, I'll be going to my old engine builder's place because he has a camera. And if you watch that live chat with Sam Oxler Jr., he called in during the live chat. And I really couldn't talk to you, Bob, while we're on live air. But I called and talked to him, and we had a good conversation, so he invited me to come out there and see his camera. We may even get it fired up on the engine stand. That'll be awesome. Now, he has a 63 Galaxy he wants to put it in. I've already talked to Mike Weeks, and I think this is a job that he may get into, and we'll document it here on DBG. He asked me I could probably do it too, but I don't have the room here, nor do I have the time, and I've never put a camera in a Galaxy. Dr. Ron Burgess told me he has a buddy that has a camera in a Galaxy and did it like 30 years ago, so we might get some tips from him. Let me keep working. I'll tell you who's on for the live chats. Now, the next people I'm going to talk with, it's going to blow you away. So on Saturday, 1/21 at 2 p.m., I'm going to have Matt Beineman from MB on a live chat. Matt's a great guy. We've been talking back and forth, but he is so busy. He just doesn't have a lot of time to do things like this. But I'm going to show you what he works with. A lot of billet aluminum, my favorite metal. He makes his own custom heads and intakes that are unbelievable. Top of the class. Matt has a huge history we're going to talk about. I think you're going to enjoy that. On Saturday the 22nd, guess what? Little power adder for DBG. Steve Morris, the king of turbos, is going to be on. So we're going to have a live chat with him, talk about some of the engines he builds. He's a good friend with Cletus McFarland. What's up, Cletus? Maybe you'll be on DBG. But he's rebuilding mullet. I've learned a lot just from watching that tear down and rebuild. So we're gonna get some information from him. That's gonna be very enjoyable. I think you're gonna like that. And you know I can talk. So let's get this water pump off. This Mazir water pump I've had since 2002. Never had any issues with it. I noticed a little bit of weepage on the little weep hole here. Nothing that leaked, but it looked like it could have a potential. So I sent it back to Mazir. They said, look, we'll sponsor you, DBG. They took care of that, fixed it. They also polished the pump up. It's been the best water pump I ever had. Now they sell the parts to try to fix it yourself, but I'm telling you, it's not worth it. I think it was 90 bucks or something for everything. You can see right there, that's where the little weep hole is. And you saw the power cord to it that got frayed from the dyno. So pay attention to those little things after your dyno motor. Actually, when you go to put your car ready for the track in the spring, check that stuff over. Fittings, fuel fittings, anything where there's a safety issue, you don't want to have it mess around. That's a potential fire right there. I love how this bolts on just the way it was. Thanks, John Patterson. Now the question is, how am I going to put these holes here? And I was thinking about it, and with a Mazir water pump, in order to run it on a Cleveland, you have to have this plate right here that goes over the stock cover. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this back on and then outline the holes from here, and I should be good to go. Question is, like I said before, is how do I make those holes? So we'll pull this off. Hopefully it's not hard to get the outline. We should be good to go. And then, like I said, all the front, well, you'll see, it's got to be resealed. I don't want this plate falling off, so we're going to be careful here. It is held in by the dowel pins that hold in the regular timing cover. I think the hardest part is going to be how to center this area, to measure the center of that circle and get it perfect. And obviously I don't want to crank it on there, I just want to make enough so it's lined up. It's good enough. So I got the plate on there, good enough. And the water pump bolts through these two bolt holes. So I suspect if it's good, let's put these bolts in and make sure we don't have any issues. So if it threads in there, I should be good to go. Let's take the old trusty marker. And there's a little bit of silicone there, but it's not going to matter. We're going to get the rough idea. I'm really pumped to get this thing back in the engine compartment under the hood of the Cougar so we can get this thing to the track, man. I'm dying to see if this thing's going to run a 950. That's all I want. And then I'm done with this 409. I'll play with it for the summer, take it when I can. And then my plan is, and this might sound crazy, but my plan is to tear this thing down, probably take it to BES, and rebuild this. But what I want to do is put some compression in it. 14:7-to-1, a bigger cam. I guarantee this thing will make 800 horsepower. That's my goal with this. But I have a lot of projects in the oven that you can see, so I try to multitask and keep them moving. Nice. Well, there you have it. Now the other thing I'll do is I'll take the gaskets, which are here. I have a few gaskets, and I'll put them in here and make sure that that's centered. But it looks pretty good. Like I said, the question is, how do I make that hole nice and neat? Probably the easiest way is to do it on a mill, but I don't have a mill. But I have a step drill. I don't know, we'll figure, make some suggestions, tell me what you think. So yeah, I just gotta clean this all up, get it ready. I have another gasket there, we'll put it on, we'll throw it back on. I just gotta figure out if I'm gonna change the oil and put new oil in it before I fire it up, or fire it up with the oil that I dynoed it with, then change oil. Make some suggestions. What would you do? I appreciate you guys being here at DBG. You can see the 354 has been sitting there since, I can tell you, since October. I haven't touched it since then, when my kids and wife came out and helped me tear down the intake manifold and pull the valve covers off. So I started working on the intake manifold, the strip dominator. You're gonna see that video, that's gonna be coming up soon. Because that Holley strip dominator, if you look inside that plenum, to me, it's terrible looking. And it's supposed to be the best one for the Cleveland that was out there. So I think I can make it a little bit better after talking with Darren Morgan. He's kind of tutoring me on it and things I've researched. So we'll see, we'll dyno it with that intake, because Brent Lakin said it made 616 at $8,000 with a stock Holley strip dominator and a 1050. So we'll see what a ported strip dominator does. Then we'll put some intakes on it and dyno it. I have like 3 or 4 intakes. I'd even like to do one of those tunnel rams back there with 2 dominators just to see what it would do. I appreciate you being here at DBG. There's lots more in store. This weekend's going to be killer with all the live chats, so thanks guys. Keep the RPMs up, and if the wheels get too high, just pull the next gear.